folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. So, I've been seeing all these rumours about a new Fractal product. I don't normally pay any attention to these rumours. In fact, on one of the forums I saw posted today, someone posted some pictures of it from a guitar event in Germany. And my first comment was, these could be anything, right? And so that's usually as far as, they could be just a quad cortex and someone's photoshopped in it or whatever. Many of you will know that I've kind of been a Fractal user for a while. I use the FM3. This is kind of often what I use live because it's light and portable. On the road a lot. I go all over the place. I do a lot of stuff with orchestras, theatre shows, function gigs, pop gigs, rock gigs, funk gigs, jazz gigs, and this can pretty much do it all. And then I've got an FM9, which is what I'm running through, which you heard in that intro as well. So I have an FM9 as well, and I thought I'd discuss kind of what I'd look for if Fractal was making a new product. But I didn't give this all these rumours kind of any kind of validity to start with. And then someone said, oh, that is Andy Wood's pedal board. Andy, I'm a big fan of his playing. I've met Andy at the NAMM show through various friends who know him. Seems like a decent dude. Great player. Sounds really good. But Andy, they were saying it was Andy's was testing it, was beta testing it, and someone kind of jumped on there and said, well, that could be, he could be testing anything, and apparently in an interview he said he was testing for Fractal, and then a couple of people corroborated that to say that was actually true, that's what he said, they'd heard it also. And I thought, wow, okay, so if that changes the whole thing with it. Okay, if he is actually beta testing something, or beta testing, however you want to say that, stuff for Fractal, then that's kind of cool, right? And I was thinking, what do I want from a new Fractal product? I have an FM9, as I've mentioned. I'm running through it right now. I've got an FM3, which I often use for live gigs, or sometimes I use either one or the other. So what do I want from this stuff, right? I mean, this, in a lot of ways, does just about everything. But I wish it had 2 more switches, right? I don't need all the switches on the main one, but if it's had 2 more switches, it'd be great. I'm actually looking to get an external 2-button foot switch for this to sort of add to its capabilities. Now, the reason I want 2 is the way I kind of set it up is this one here toggles between scenes 1 and 4. Right? This one 2 and 5, this one 3 and 6. So that gets me 6 scenes straight off. If I hold this one down, it takes me to scene 7. If I hold this one down, it takes me to scene 8. If I hold this one down, it takes me to the tuner. So I can actually get 9 functions out of the 3 switches, right? Which is pretty powerful, right? And then you have a few different controls and what have you. But I really wish that I had 2 more. And the main reason is I really like to have tap tempo for delays and stuff. And I don't want to give up any one of the 3 switches as I'm currently using it. So tap tempo would be good. And I also like to have a boost, like a 4 dB boost, like just on hand, on one switch, always there. That's what I do on my FM9. I have a button up the top that is always that, no matter what. So if I'm getting into a guitar solo in a band, like I need more volume, hit the boost on 4 dB up, or 3 dB up, whichever one I've set it to, I can't remember. But that's one that I'd like to have. So like a 5-button switch of this, that's right in the middle, would be ideal, in my opinion, for what I'm looking for. That boost is also handy if you have a coil tap on your guitar, like on my DGT, that has a coil tap, and I do notice a drop in volume. People say there's not as much drop in volume, but I find there's still a drop in volume. So being able to hit the boost and get that back up to about where the humbuckers are is perfect, right? For balancing. Or if, say, I go from a humbucker guitar to a Telecaster or something like that, where the volume will be down. So I just hit a boost. The boost is always a block near the end of the chain, so it's not really affecting the sound, it's just kicking up the level. So yeah, 5 switches would be one thing I'd really want. Another thing I'd really want, and this is something that would be super handy, would be to have iPhone control over your Fractal unit. I don't want to have to bring a laptop to edit the thing. Do you know what I mean? Most of the time I don't. What I do is I just plug it into my computer at home, I do the preset, and then I'm done. And I'm into the gig. And if something's wrong on the gig, I have the perform page where I can adjust like a few things. But it would be nice to be able to dive a little deeper. And we all have our phone with us, right? So just some kind of way of connecting your phone. Even if it was a cable you had to plug in, I'd be cool with that. There is a USB port on it. In fact, the FM3 actually has 2 USB ports. Right here, one for the old printer style and one for a more modern USB type A. But if you had USB type C, you just plug your phone in, Boom, done. That would be awesome. The other thing too is maybe that could be a recording output, so that if you're recording USB-C straight into your phone, you could have like really good sound without needing some kind of interface or adapter or whatever. That'd be great. All right, so USB-C and preferably some way of kind of editing on your phone. That would be huge. Other than that, there's not much more that I'd kind of want from it. There's some effects things that could be better. So a few things like that. I'd like the synth stuff to kind of go a little further. That'd be really cool. The tracking of the detuning, the virtual capo would be great. But I mean, those things are all like small kind of things. I'm actually really happy with the sound of it and how it works. I don't take a stance that tube amps are better than modelers. I think they're both just different tools, and I use both. Although many of the advantages the modeler has outweighs that of a tube amp for a lot of the work I do. But that's just the work I do. Other people might feel differently. The work I do often requires me to have a lot of sounds, get it quickly, do it in a way that I can do without like killing anyone with volume. It's an interesting thing. I remember talking to someone recently, and they were saying, there's something really fun about a Marshall on full. It's like it's a dangerous thing, and I thought, it sure is, right? Like, it's awesome. But it's very rare I get to do that. And in fact, like, all the people who say you have to have an amp, like, they're not going to play unless they have an amp. Those people I know that say that and have that approach don't generally gig that much. So make of that what you will. Anyway, I just thought I'd share some thoughts on that. So I'm hoping Fractal will do that. It looks like by the photos it has 4 buttons. I really hope it has 5. That would be really great for me. Although maybe the 4th button could be programmed to be different things. I don't know. But sort of an in-between the FM9 and the FM3 would be ideal, because that's kind of the sweet spot if you ask me. They could of course make it lighter, make it more powerful, all those sort of things. Those are all welcomed. You know what I mean? More manual controls. I'm kind of old school. I quite like having manual control. The old Fractal AX8 or X8 or however you say it. I had one of those, and it had controls for treble, middle, bass that were always right there. That was super handy. I miss having that on these newer units. Now I know the Perform page you can do that, but it's just different. It's not the same as having a control right there. Just one of the reasons I like the Fender FRs is because you've got that adds that functionality back there that you might need. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you have, please subscribe. My name's Nick Granville, as I mentioned. I'm a professional guitar player from Wellington, New Zealand. I post every day on YouTube my thoughts about music, about gear. It's kind of essentially like a blog, if you will, video blog, vlog, whatever you want to call it. And lots of playing. I've got some cool gigs around the corner, so I'll post some videos from those. So yeah, I'll play some stuff, play out.